Same Royal Point Pride here with defensive coordinator Tom Mason. Coach Mason, last day of practice for the spring. What did you think about all the progress the defense made?
Well, I think we've come a long ways. We answered some questions. I'm happy with where we're at right now. As a coach, you always wish you had 30 more days, but you don't. So I really like where we're at. I think we've established some depth in certain positions. We've got our mindset right, and I really got a good feel about this group of kids.
The two positions where you're having to replace a lot of guys is that linebacker and defensive line. At those two positions in specific, did you see anyone kind of stand up, separate themselves from the group?
Well, there's quite a few guys that stepped up. I'm really happy about Robert Seals. He's going to replace Garrett Davis, and then inside we've got Pope's going to step up and replace Taylor Reed, but you got Jonathan Yenga right there that's ready to play, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of drop off there. We got a lot of depth there. We got a lot of good players and good young players. Lincoln Richard had a heck of a spring ball, and so did Jarvis Pruitt. So Longoria's coming around. We got depth. We got good athletes there, and I'm excited about that linebacker spot. I mean, we're as good as anybody in the country at linebacker.
At defensive line, it seems like Eli Nabusoshi's getting a lot of working time at that left end and right end. Do you think he's someone that people should watch?
Yeah, I mean, Eli's going to be a force. I mean, he'll be one of the better players ever to play here by the time he's done. He's come so far since last spring that it's just amazing to watch him, and he's 270 pounds now. Kramer came on strong at the end of nose tackle. We moved him in there. That was real positive. He's going to be really something before it's all over too. He reminds me of a bigger Aaron Davis, so he's got that kind of motor, and that's exciting in there. Zach Woods really had a great spring, so I'm excited where we're at. McClenaghan, he'll end up in one of those positions. He's going to be hard to beat out, so it's been good at that as far as the D-line. I got no problems there.
And then at defensive back, you're returning a lot of stars, but it seems like that's a position, especially where it's starting to build depth. With Ty Law, you got J.R. Richardson back, and you got Chris Parks. What have you thought about that position?
Well, I think we're going to be okay there. I'd love to get those two corners back. They've got knee problems right now. JR and Horace, love to get those guys in the mix. They missed a lot of reps this spring, but that's just part of football. Ty Law saw a lot of playing time this spring, got a lot of reps. The safety position, I think we're too deep, pretty good there with Greenbauer and Daniel Roundtree and Shaquille and Jay Scott. So, we're at least too deep there. Some of those young kids coming in may have to play. Ack going over to offense. We can really use him at that corner spot, but I think we'll be all right as long as those young kids can come back from those knee injuries.
So do you think Ack is going to stay on the offensive side?
Well, we'll probably play him a little bit of both. I'm not sure. June and I kind of go back and forth on that. So I know he was really showing well as a wide receiver there, and I'm kind of one of those guys that, hey, if it helps us win, we got to do what we got to do. Obviously he could be a starting corner for us like he has for the last 3 years.
You mentioned JR and Horace. I don't want you to get into any specifics, but do you think they'll be ready for the start of fall practice?
Yeah, I think so. We got some practice time out of them. Spring ball, you really don't want to push those too much. And I told them when those things got tired, shut it down. They'll be fine by August. It's another 2-3 months to get ready and heal up, and they'll be fine. I'm not too concerned about that.
Just kind of on a side note, you had a big event out here today. You had a lot of the former players that you coached are now in the NFL come back to watch practice. You had a bunch of recruits out here watching. How nice was it to have this kind of atmosphere for the spring game?
Well, that's what we got to do. This football program's on the rise, and we've got it in a real upward trend right now, and who knows how good we could be as this thing keeps growing. But it was exciting to see a lot of people out here, a lot of big-time recruits, and just the interest in the program is really growing, and that in itself is exciting.